This is ELH4X4 doing stuff. Today, we're working on one of my projects. They're all my projects. This is ELH4X4 doing stuff. Today, we're going to take this and turn it into that. This is what I call a Green Beret solution to an airsoft dilemma. So come on along. All right, so what I was saying earlier about a Green Beret solution to a airsoft problem is we train the indigenous force how to do their job, and that's protect their own country. But I'm going to train the force here so they can make their own target stands. So come on up, buddy. I'm going to do our first measurement. Measure this part right here. Stop. Let's work smarter, not harder. Right? So if we measure from this way, instead of bending down, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, you can bring the measurement to you, right? And we used other tape measures. Some of them were on 30 seconds. Majority of them will be 1/16 of an inch. My eyesight is absolutely horrible. I can see inches, half inch, and quarter inch pretty well. When it got to the 30-second, it was just horrible. All right, so since this is a 1/16, you can count the little lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/16. If you do the simple math, 4 divides into 16 4 times. 4 divides into itself once. 1/4 inch. So we got 19 1/4. All right, let's measure this. Let's write this down since my memory is absolutely impeccable. So our legs are 19 1/4. Cross member from the inside. We're going to do an inside measurement. Move over here so we can. All right, do it again. Pull it out. Keep going. It doesn't have to be in a. Well, you could find out what the length of this is and add that to the number, but we're not going to do that because it doesn't say what the 16, right? 16 inches. And that mark right there is showing you for carpentry, that would be, if you're doing 16 on center, that would be your stud layout. So 16 inches. Inches here. And this is going to be our 1x1. I got 1x1 and 1x2 stock. And we're going to go through and cut that. So 16, 19 1/4. Excuse me. Measure that. What'd you get? 4 inches, right? And my son brought it to my attention because I can't see for nothing. For inside measure, add 2.5 inches. So that would be the inside measure. I was like, why is this different? So I measured it in a different spot. So 14, That would be 16 and a half. $16 and a quarter out here. It's probably a little bit off. Oh yeah, 16 and a half out here. So it's kind of pigeon-toed, which is no big deal. We don't need accuracy right here. So we got 16 and a half on this side, 16 and a half on that. You got your gloves on, and you can grab a 1x1, doesn't matter, grab a small one. Yeah, go ahead and step on that. There you go. Okay, it's holding it pretty good. There you go. So we need 2 support legs, 1 cross beam. So we'll do our 19 and a quarter. So measure out 19 and a quarter. All right, here, I'll hold that. Where's 19 and a quarter? $19 and a quarter. Okay, and what we can do also is put a little dot there for a quick reference. So that's 19 and a quarter. Put you guys on time warp. So we're going to do a progression of tools. We're going to start out with the hand saw, because sometimes you're in an area where there's no power. Then we're going to move up to the angle grinder, and then from the angle grinder we're going to go up to the chop saw. All right, buddy. So when you're using a hand saw, you want to scribe your line. Okay, get your line started so the blade doesn't walk on you. So get your line started, and since you're wearing gloves, you can use your thumb to guide or whatever. So start cutting. So we're just talking about the difficulties of, it's possible to use a hacksaw. I mean, it's happened for hundreds of years before we had power tools. It just takes a while, and it gets pretty tiresome. So we're going to step up to the angle grinder to get our cut, and then from there to get a more accurate cut. You could be super accurate with a accurate, right? Super accurate with a angle grinder with a lot of practice. But with the chop saw, to even be more accurate with less experience, that's ultimately the way to go. We don't all have chop saws, right? So we're going to get set up on an angle grinder. We got eye pro and ear pro for the user. You see what I'm doing here? can hold that button down. We don't really need a wrench to tighten that down. Let's flip it over. We have to. Anyway. Get you set up on the blade. All right, we got a power ran. All right, buddy, so you got your power switch, handle. What you can do is you can lean over your work to support your arm and the grinder, right? Get the blade going and then touch down on the metal, okay? Hold on. Right. All right, no big deal. It did it. For being a first-time user of an angle grinder, it came out really good, and it's metal, so we can clean it up. We're going to do another measurement and cut off another piece and do it all over again. All right, we're not building the space shuttle. So if we're off a little bit or whatever, no big deal, but we're going to work on it. We're going to continue to get better. We're going to move over to the chop saw and see where that gets us. So what do we got here for scrap? Scrap. All right, we're going to get the chop saw set up, go over how to use that, and then we'll be right back. Are we centered? Can you see this through the...
Yep.
All right, so what we were talking about is when we were cutting our metal, depending on what side our measurement is, we know that this is 19 1/4 to this line. Like I said, we're not building the spacecraft or whatever, anything relying on precise measurements, but nonetheless, when you're cutting, you always want to cut on the other side. Not always, but in this case, cut on the other side. This is going to be our scrap on the other side. This is our measured piece, so we want to line up the blade on the opposite side of the piece that we're keeping. All right, and we're going to call that good. Check it again because it moved. All right, that's good enough. All right, much more precise cut. But we don't all have the luxury of having a chop saw, so we make do with what we got. Had it on the wrong setting.
Yes.
No, I did. I'm talking to the people. So he's got his mark laid out, and then he's going to put it in the machine, do it again. All right, we're going to get some other cuts going on. All right, we got our two legs. Got our 2 legs going on. We're going to cut some cross supports, and then some of the whatever these uprights are called. We're going to get those cut, and then we're going to move over to the welder. All right, so we're going to work on our cross member measurement and do 16.5, because we're doing our cross member. So we're going to do 16.5 on our cross member. And since we're keeping this side, we're going to cut on the left side of the line. All right, so we need 4 inches for our 2x1. All right, buddy, lay it out. Get your layout. Which is just a fancy way of saying measure it. So 4 inches. There we go. We'll get that set up in the, well, we need 2 of those, all right? We're going to need 2, so we'll worry about that in a second. All right, so now we got all of our parts and pieces. Ooh, it's still warm. There we go. Now we'll just get set up with the welder, get everything laid out, and clean up where we're going to weld, because we want a nice clean surface before we weld. And we'll knock off some of these edges. Clean our edges up, and then prep for paint. We almost had you guys out of the fight. We were going over, go ahead, we're going over using the grinder and stuff, and you know, how to use the grinder and put a beveled edge on it, because we're going to be welding, you know, that part. You just want to knock the sharp edges off of it, because you don't want to cut yourself when you're setting up your targets. All right, you did this one? Nope, still got that one. And we had to set up our welder because we were using gas. And I got flux core in it now, so we don't have to worry about wasting gas on, you know, something that doesn't need a precision, well, not precision, but, you know what I mean. We don't need to waste gas on something that's going to be laying on the ground. So as soon as he finishes up that one part that he's working on, then we'll move over to the welding. We already got our lines laid out on our feet where the crossbar is going to go. We just want half the distance, or half the distance of the, you know, the length of this part. Laid out our mark, and then that way we know where to put the cross member at when we weld it in. We almost forgot a feature on the other one is holes. They have holes drilled in the feet, so I guess you could drive pegs so they don't blow over. I like to use brake rotors because I have them. All right, buddy, get your center punch. You can adjust the tension on a center punch by loosening and tightening. All right, so all right, and you can do it a couple times. I can't see with these glasses. There's the mark. All right. Drive it a couple times. Make sure you're drilling. There's our reference mark for the center crossbar. All right. So wherever, you know, maybe an inch back or whatever. Okay. And then we'll get set up on the drill. I'm taking the time this Memorial weekend to spend with my kids, doing stuff, making things. And for those of you who had lost loved ones, Gold Star members, or friends that were in the service, brothers and sisters that served our country and paid the ultimate sacrifice, this is the weekend where we remember that, we reflect on that. And I want to say that I love you, and I thank you for what your family member, brother, sister, mom, dad, cousin, friend, whoever it was that served in the military that you lost. We think about them, and we hold what they do in honor and sacrifice. So thank you for the service that they did and the ultimate sacrifice they paid. Let's continue. So now we're going to prep the surface that's going to be welded. We're going to get our legs going on. And we don't have to get all too crazy. Where's your pen at? Over there. Whatever. We can grab a pencil too. That'll show up. We just want to clean the area where we're going to be welding. So you can hit this angle here. Right, this angle, this area, and this angle with the flap disc. We'll get you set up. Where's your other leg? We don't know. Is this it? This is it. No, this is the cross member. All right, perfect. All right, we got our layout. We put our reference marks on there lightly again, just to find rough center. We got our drilled holes on opposing sides. Make sure that they're facing up, or they're useless. but not if you're using brake rotors like me. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to tack them up, get everything all tacked in, and then we'll do the final burn in. Go through our welder settings so we get proper penetration and all that neat stuff. All right, weld your corner. Come over here on the other side, walk around the ground cable. You can lift up your mask.
Going.
Yeah, go ahead. See, you're hiding yourself. Look, put the mask down. Step over. Like, put the mask on. Put the mask down. There we go. Watch. Okay, that was horrible. That was horrible. Hold that. Let me turn the, let me get your, this is bad. Watch out. Put your mask on. Okay. Yeah, that works. So we just needed to up our there you go. So what you're going to do is you're just going to stand here and just hold it and work it back and forth, okay?
Okay.
Perfect.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm waiting on you. Move it back and forth slowly to the left and to the right. All right. That's good. Move over. Do it again. Back and forth. Left and to the, go to the left more. There you go. See how you're building it up on the right more? All right, go back to the left. So do it again and do it to the left. What happened?
It just shot out.
Okay, do it again. To the left. To the left. To the left. There you go, to the right. No, never mind. No worries.
Yeah, you can see the wire. It just like
you
shot
can
out.
you can smell
Yeah.
the oil.
Not bad for my first
Right.
time.
Heads up. Now we got to do the
So there's back and forth.
right. Okay.
There's the grounding.
Get it. This one's going to come out dirty because it's not clean. That might be better because, yeah, all right, let me,
Can I like extend the wire? Or...
there you go. All right, that's good.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
That's what you want to do. All right, move it back some and. All right. Nice. That's really good. Let's get this other side tacked up. So grab that one. Here.
Thank you.
You can.
Why is it practice?
Let's get you back on the ground. Limited welder torch.
Can you tighten it good?
All right. To your right.
Okay.
Come on, do it again. Hold it down and I'll stop. Stop. You're bouncing all over the place. Get reset to where you can see what you're doing.
I can...
Hold on. Hold on. All right, go ahead. Do it above that.
Over.
Yeah, right there. And hold it. Go ahead. To your right. To your right. All right. All right. Okay, that's good. Good enough.
Other side.
Yep. Hold on. We got to put our ground on. All right, go ahead.
Right
Yeah.
here.
And then well, in the middle.
Okay.
Right in between the two. The whole purpose of welding metal is to join two pieces together. You do that where they touch. All right, yeah, to your right, to your left, left, to your left, left. Okay. See how far over to the right you were?
Yeah.
All right, do it again, but above it. But
Right.
don't do the, yeah,
Right here?
wherever, yeah. All right, that's not bad. And the issue also, this wasn't ground. I mean grinded. We didn't grind this part, so it's dirty. You don't ever want to weld on dirty metal. It'll, because like there's grease and other things that are part of it.
You won't need the magnet, right?
No, I don't need the magnet. You don't need the magnet.
I'll just...
Yeah.
Right there?
Yep. All right, go ahead. Left and right. Left and right, okay. All right. Bang that here. All right. Go ahead. Oh, no ground. We'll edit that part out. Left and right. Okay, that was a good one.
I'm getting better.
All right, all right, not bad. So, this is dirty metal. Old flux core, super old flux core. I had problems welding with it when I used it a couple years ago. But, I mean, not bad. It's held together. So what we're going to do now is we're going to prep our surface for our uprights. And then we'll do the final burn in and call it a day. All right, what are you guys looking at? We centered? Good? Okay. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to grind this off. And right, I was explaining to the young man that we'll go over it with a grinder and a paint, right? The grinder and paint make us the welders we ain't. All right. Let's get you set up on the grinder. All right, so we got everything all tacked in. It's not the prettiest, but hey, for using garbage flux core, a mediocre welder, not really wonderful cleaning area. We didn't prep it that good. This is super dirty, oily. You could smell the oil coming off of it. And the very first time, he did an awesome job. For what we're going to use it for, this is perfect. So now we're just going to go back over, kind of prep everything else, and then do the final burn in. We'll have it set up to, or where all of his welds are overhead, right? So we got everything all tacked in, we got everything all held together. So this way he can work over top of all of his welds and not worry about, you know, trying to find that good angle. And he can just stand over everything, and then we'll flip it and move it and whatnot. Thanks for hanging out too, appreciate it. Like I said earlier, I hope you guys are having a blessed Memorial Day weekend. A lot of emotions and whatnot, and I care about you. I served. I did 23 years in the military, and I was very fortunate enough to come home. Some of my friends didn't, so for those of you who did lose friends and family, my heart goes out to you. I love you guys, and we sit back and we think about the wonderful times we had with our friends who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Right, he had a little emergency. Some splatter went through his sneakers. I warned him about the sneakers, but what do parents know? Anyway, he's had to run off and go check out his foot, so he'll be back. He wants me to finish up. I'm not finishing up. He's going to. Right, the test. All right, let's get the grinder. Yeah, it looks like the other one.
Plug it.
Now let it run in. That way it cools itself down. It looks exactly like the other one. But ours are different because our holes are drilled on the opposite end, so there can't be any copyright infringements on that, right? Now we're just going to prep for paint. Use some acetone. I'll do that because I like the smell of it, and my brain isn't needed anymore. If it smells clean, it's clean. Right. What's my cup at?
Oh, you put it down.
No, I put it on the steps. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to shake this up until he gets back. All right, so we got the finished product here, right? Looking good. Not too bad. Just like the young man says, it's going to be on the ground and we're going to be shooting at it, so how nice does it need to look, right? It'll work. Thanks for watching ELH4X4 doing stuff. Green Beret solution to an airsoft dilemma. We watched the young man make his own target stand. What we're going to do also is go through the actual targetry to where it captures the airsoft BBs so I don't have to walk on them. It's the modern day Lego, right? So thanks for the likes, the subscriptions, the comments, and have a blessed Memorial Day. We love you and have a great day.